We're gonna do a little hobby house update. So I think I'm a bit of a mulch addict. I usually get mulch quite a few times a year, and this is a good time right between the transition of spring to summer. Winter to spring. There you go. It's a good time to put down some mulch. Just doing a little bit of cleaning up over here, kind of trimmed up. This tree had some die off. I don't think we did a really good job giving it enough topsoil on this mound area right there. It's embedded into rocks, and so the lower limbs of it kind of died off. Trim that up. We've still got some healthy top to it. I'm going to try to start amending topsoil, and just putting essentially yard waste here is going to help over time. We've got a lot of native flowers coming in here. Star tick seed. We have some Coreopsis there. There was some more Coreopsis over there, some more natives. This guy, I'm not even sure what it is as far as a native, but I threw a bunch of native seed in there. Native wildflowers specifically, and they have actually really taken well to this place. And not a surprise, I essentially just threw topsoil from this yard, which is good topsoil, but just a few inches of topsoil on these rocks here, and that was enough for the natives to survive and actually thrive very well in some cases. But they're natives, and that's what they're used to, so that's why I put them here instead of trying to beat my head against some other flower that's not going to like this sort of spot. So yeah, they're doing well. Our arborvitaes, of course, these are the what would it be, business up front, party and back aspect of my landscaping. I've got this kind of on front just so it looks nice, and they're honestly doing well as well. They're really filling out. I'm pleased at how they look, although I was thinking about topping this one in particular, because when it gets big, these guys can get 25 feet tall, 20 feet tall, depending on how well they like the location, and very massive in diameter as well. It'll end up shading all of this unless this turns into trees, which in which case then they'll both be kind of the same height. But I'm not sure that I want this particular one to be super tall. That way it won't shade out in 5 to 10 years or whatever this part of the garden. As you can see, we're in a wintertime garden here in the front of the hobby house. Now the kales pretty much got killed when we had sub 10 Fahrenheit temperatures. That was, they couldn't take it. They were doing great pretty much all winter time, and then we had about a week where every night it was getting below 10 degrees into the single digits, and they just, yeah, that was too much for them to handle. But as you can see, this guy is definitely still alive. So if I want to be lazy, which full disclosure, I'm going to be lazy this year, I'm going to keep this. We will take these off as soon as it starts to bounce back from the winter time. I'll cut up the dead portions just so that the living portions can get more sunlight. We'll see if the rest of these survive. I think this guy right here is going to be just fine. And I'm not sure about this one. It may have gotten totally killed. We're also getting down into the single digits again tonight, I think, a few times this week. There may be some living portions on this massive stalk here. So I'm just gonna kind of see what happens. I'm also gonna do more seed of kales. We're gonna put them in front of the house as essentially landscaping, delicious landscaping, the best kind of landscaping in my opinion. And then more than likely, I'm going to plan for this to actually move forwards more and more every year, because these trees are going to be getting bigger and bigger. And as a matter of fact, these two trees, these are called jujube trees, a Lee and a Lang, or a Lang and a Lee. I forget which way at this point. But I think they actually need to move. And I don't think their roots have actually crept out enough. They didn't leaf out very large on top, and if they don't leaf out large on top, that means that they also did not produce very much root mass that year. So I'm going to move them very carefully. I'm going to dig up a very big portion around them, and I think maybe bring them both up to about right here. And over time, as they get bigger and bigger, they will shade out this portion of the garden. But as this grows, that's kind of what needs to happen. A garden shouldn't just be stagnant forever. it really needs to be planned with the movement of everything. And since I am doing sort of a restoration agriculture slash agroforestry slash permaculture style of getting trees going, doing trees on the drip line of this, and as the fruit trees grow bigger, they're going to shade out more of this garden, but I can just move the garden edge up and also have some things underneath it, like some hazelnuts. If I move these trees up to about right here, then we'd want to do hazelnuts kind of out there. And so as everything grows up, that you kind of have this staggered structure that goes down. But that's looking long term. That's 5-10 year plan again. But that's what I feel the garden really needs, unless you want to just wear out one spot in time. I guess you could do a crop rotation, but it doesn't make sense to do rotations in a little home setting like this, at least to me. I want to have things that take less work, like trees, and it's a hell of a system on his bike there. At any rate, let's see. Yeah, I want to do a system that doesn't need constant work and is going to have kind of a progression every year, something a little different. And then as maybe one or two of the trees die off, that gives a chance for new edges to spring up, and then you can do more of your small stuff again in the new spot. So that's a kind of a long-term look on it, but that seems to be the way the garden should be done, at least in my opinion, is that they have a progression. Let's see what else is going on. We've got these trees right here. Let's check out some of the other ones. I haven't actually looked in a while. A whole ton of winter creeper seed popping up here. Obviously the birds have been roosting on the trees and dropping their droppings, and so we've got these little seedlings. This stuff is a real nasty creeping vine that is extremely aggressive, and there's just hundreds, if not 1,000 little everywheres. So as the season goes on, we'll just have to deal with that. Oh yeah, we've got our let me make sure I didn't turn this off here. I just whacked it with my thumb. Yeah, it's still on. We have the elderberry. This elderberry is obviously popping back. Since we're going to have really cold temperatures, that it may hurt these growth buds. This one has already started to die back a little bit. I think it got a little ahead of itself this year. But the way that elderberries come back like this is that the ones on the tips will be a little bit more vigorous, but the ones down here aren't really doing anything. So if we do have a hard freeze, then it'll grow from the lower bud points, growth nodes. That'll be nice though. That was just a adventitious little volunteer. A little wet back there. Yeah, the yard's pretty wet here. Oh yeah. Here, get a shot of that. The water table on these properties is so high, you can see that there's literally just standing water, which is why a lot of the choices that I've made here were the choices that I've made, is that it holds a lot of water, and we're going to try to soak this all up. We need to soak this water up, and we may as well put it into plants. So we've got the, let's see, what are these guys? Let's see if I can remember. I'll have to maybe look back on another video. Oh, it's gonna come to me any moment here. I can't remember. A native plant of some sort. Pawpaws. We've got two of them here. They do a lot better when you have two of them to breed with each other. But these create these little fruits about yay big that taste like bananas. It has the consistency of custard. It's pretty interesting, honestly. Really delicious. Everything else looks like it's munched down, or native grasses that are, of course, dead. So I don't think any of the other little things that I planted back there survived. Oh, there's not a lot to report back on the backyard, so we're probably just gonna call it there, and we'll just start that over. There's not really a lot to report on the backyard, so we're just gonna call it there, and I will do another episode on the backyard when we start getting some progress with the addition on the hobby house. So a lot of what I'm planning in the backyard depends on that, and we can't do anything there until that gets going. So as always, thank you for tuning in. If you got any questions, post them down below. As always, have a great day.